These past weeks, we have had a whole variety of events here at our synagogue. And each event on the face of it has an appeal to a certain group of people. So we had on a Friday night a service that was devoted to using Persian melodies and traditions, more or less coinciding with Nowruz, with the Persian New Year. We commemorated Yom HaShoah, which of course recognizes those that were murdered during the Shoah and those that survived. We commemorated Yom HaZikaron, Israel's Memorial Day, giving thanks to those who gave their lives for the establishment and the maintenance of Medinat Yisrael. And we celebrated Israel's 78th birthday. Now, you would think that everybody would show up to each of these events and say, these are my events. And while there are some people who attended all of them, there was this sense that people had that certain events are more appropriate for me, for how I view myself, for how I am connected and affiliated than other events. And that's fine. But I want to make an appeal this morning that we do a small thing to try to break down some of the barriers that might exist between us. And while I fully believe that we should be breaking down barriers between all religious communities, this morning, as a rabbi, as a teacher among the Jewish people, I am going to make the appeal that we try to use some simple steps to break down the barriers that exist between Jewish people. Specifically, I'm going to ask that we use our own curiosity and our own desire to try to understand that which might not be our most comfortable place of identification. So I want to give 3 examples of circumstances in which people really tried to begin to break down some of these barriers by using curiosity and a willingness to understand. So you may know that in Israel, there's a great deal of controversy now. There are groups known as Haredim, ultra-Orthodox groups, that believe that the way that they should serve the Jewish state is through Torah study and not by serving in the army or as part of Sherut Leumi, national service. And there is a great deal of resentment, one must honestly share, that those who are serving and those who are supporting those who serve, the families of those who serve, have toward those who are not, by and large, serving the state in this way. So I recently saw a video of a rabbi who is Haredi, a Rabbi Weiss, and he was sitting with some of his yeshiva students, and he was telling them a story that had happened to him, and here is the story that he shared. He makes it his business to visit people who are sick and injured in hospitals, a major mitzvah, Bikur Cholim, and he was visiting a soldier who was wounded. And this soldier had one of his arms blown off in an accident. And so the soldier was sitting there with one arm completely removed. And this rabbi comes to his bed and is listening to him. And the soldier said to him, I have some halachic questions. I have some Jewish legal questions for you. The first one, my practice has been to wrap tefillin on a certain arm, and that arm no longer exists. So what should I do while wrapping tefillin? The second question that he asked, he said to the rabbi, I am looking forward, God willing, soon to having a prosthetic arm installed. And I want to know if I should say Shehecheyanu when I receive the prosthetic arm. So this rabbi said to his yeshiva students who are Haredi, who are not serving in the army, this young man is a tzaddik. This young man is a righteous man. I do not want you to look at this young man through your ideological lens and say that he is doing the wrong thing. I want you to see this young man as acting out of Yirat Shamayim, appropriate fear of heaven, as a tzaddik, as a righteous human being, trying to understand how he can move forward in keeping with Jewish tradition in a way that is affirming. What was this rabbi doing? He was inviting his students to lean in, not with condemnation, but with curiosity and with a willingness to try to understand, saying to them, in effect, you think you understand, but I am challenging you to try to understand more deeply. A young man who is truly, truly observant in every way and who is also serving his country in the army. Allow that to enter your consciousness. Second example. Just last week, we had two guests here, one a professor of linguistics, and the other a young man who grew up in Great Neck. And he has been doing work to try to understand the particular Judeo-Farsi dialect that his grandmother speaks, which is Judeo-Toiserkani. So this is a dialect that was spoken by a small number of people, only hundreds of people. And so the professor spoke about how she is trying to get people to appreciate all of these Jewish dialects that in another generation will not be spoken by people because they are so unique. And so they were sharing the work that they are doing, she overall with the project, and he specifically as an American-born, fluent Farsi speaker, trying to learn from his grandmother elements of the culture that she had enjoyed growing up in Iran, which in a generation might not have proponents. And there was a remarkable moment where, after lots of people asked lots of questions, an individual who identified himself as having an Ashkenazi background said to this young man and to others present who came from mixed backgrounds, you know, I am familiar with much of Ashkenazi culture, Eastern European culture, but I have to say that Persian Jewish culture is not hundreds of years old, it is thousands of years old. It is time that we who did not grow up in this culture try to understand it more deeply. There is so much here. I am beginning to understand what I don't understand. Leaning in with curiosity and with a willingness to try to understand. And the third example, we had over 400 people here commemorating Yom HaZikaron. Some have said that Israel's Memorial Day is a time when you sense the gap between Israeli Jews and American Jews, because every Israeli Jew knows somebody who was killed fighting to protect the state of Israel, and many American Jews do not. And as much as we certainly feel connected, it's not the same kind of connection. The ceremony takes place year after year, almost entirely in Hebrew, consisting of songs and recollections. And there were a number of people from Temple Israel who were not Hebrew speakers. And they said, we come every year, and even though we don't understand the words, we understand the meaning. And they make it their business to be here. Now, I want to invite all of us to try to lean in with curiosity and a real desire to understand the experience that our Israeli brothers and sisters face. It is different. After the Gaza war ended and before the war with Iran began, Deanna and I purchased tickets through El Al We are set to go the end of June. We hope we'll be able to go. And I can't tell you what to do, but I am going to encourage you. Go on the website and buy tickets. Just set up a trip. Plan to go. Our brothers and sisters in Israel, they want to see us and we want to see them because we are Am Echad B'Lev Echad. We are one people with one heart, and we need to continue to lean into each other. However we can do that with deep curiosity and with a desire to understand. So I want to conclude by pointing to two elements of Passover that actually help us to achieve what I am encouraging us to achieve, leaning in with curiosity and a desire to understand. The first, we sing on Passover in every generation, Chayav Adam lirot et atzmo ke'ilu hu yatsa miMitzrayim. We're supposed to see ourselves ke'ilu, as though we left Egypt. I want us to lean in with the ke'ilu. I want us to see ourselves as though we are part of the Persian Jewish community, as though we are part of the Ashkenazi community, as though we are Israeli. Lean in with the desire to place ourselves in a space that in some ways is different and in other ways is not so different at all. And the second element of Passover, which is so familiar to us, is opening the door for Elijah. We open the door for Elijah. Elijah is supposed to herald Yemot HaMashiach, the messianic days, when within the Jewish people and across all lines of self-definition within the human species, we are going to see greater recognition, greater understanding, a greater desire to be able to live and to celebrate one another. And so I want to invite us to open doors. You see a program coming up and you say to yourself, it's not for me. Think again. Maybe it's more for you than you think. Maybe the self-definitions that sometimes allow us to drift apart really need to be overcome. Maybe we need to ask, what's going on? What can I learn? And those opening of doors, God willing, one day will let in Elijah the prophet, letting us know that because of all of our efforts, because we are curious, because we want to understand that we are getting closer to the time when all of these divisions will not hold us back. We can transcend them, and more we can be together. Shabbat Shalom.